something like that. Very ugly handwriting, and then also demand. Okay, and of course, even though they talk about target market, and then we didn't cover in particular the whole industry. We didn't cover organization. We didn't cover finance for the chapter, for the presentation questions. They mainly focus on P and a little bit talking about T, target market. For others, actually, in chapter 4, we will cover that again. So we will wait until after the presentation. And as far as the desirability and demand is concerned, in your upcoming written report, talking about the business plan, yes, you need to include the CT plus prototype. Prototype. And then plus TYPE plus BIS plus face to face plus GIL. Even though in their presentation, the case didn't really have all of this, but somehow these are some key concepts that you need to include it in your end of semester paper, the written report, talking about business plan. And then, when you listen to the presentation 10 minutes later, so you should have a good foundation about all this. And then while you are listening to the content, I think you can really get involved and then put it in your mind, yes, presentation we cover, and it is also useful for your business plan. Something like this. Okay, so I will come back to do the debriefing after the presentation. So for the time being, now I will temporarily take away the whiteboard, and then we go for the first item, taking the attendance. Okay, so let me do the sharing. Attendance is here. Okay, so if you cannot see the QR code, let me know. And the password is at the top left-hand corner. The so-called the CRN is 107x3. You got a prefix of 4. 4 means Thursday. All right. So the password is 410x73. So you may take the attendance now. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Ji Ching, thank you. Yan Ting. All right. Yes, you know Jito style, okay, and then thank you, Lord E, etc. All right, Helen, all right. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the good response, quick response, telling me that you finished doing that. And then, yes, thank you, Jessica and others. And I will leave it for 15 seconds, and then we will move to our next item. And the presentation group will try to get ready, share your slide, and turn on microphone to see whether it works or not. And also after that, of course, critique group, you also need to turn on your microphone, get ready the question, copy and paste one by one with reference to a particular page number so that everybody know what is going on, so that presentation group can refer to a particular PowerPoint slide to respond to your question or to accept your challenge or something like this. Okay, so now I'll take away the QR code. Quite a lot of you, thank you so much, has response to me. I love you all. And now we have finished the first item. And there will be another round of taking attendance later on. Okay, so presentation time. I will take away the whiteboard. And yes, presentation group, you can try to share the file and to test your microphone to see whether it works or not.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, I can also see the PowerPoint slide, which is good. And then let me try to get accept people to the room first. Give me a few seconds. Where am I? Wow, good. All right. And here. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, for the product for today, which is different from the previous two presentations, GoPro, you may own a camera. If you don't own that, but you have heard about this, Dropbox, even though you may use Google Drive, but Dropbox is also popular. But this time, talking about something for the babies, right? And then, but the story behind or the application theory is quite useful for your business plan. Okay, so and people just now, some of you test your microphone. I assume it works. All right. So if your group is ready, I will hand over the stage to Jersek. Jersek is Jeffrey, Judy, Jasper, 3 J's, and also Manhole Sec. Jersek, are you ready?
Yes.
Yes, ready.
Okay,
Yes.
which is good. So look forward to listening to the exciting presentation. So ladies and gentlemen, show time. Yes, go ahead.
So good afternoon, everyone. We are Group C, and today we are going to talk about the Embrace Infant Warmer. So we'll first introduce ourselves to you and then talk about the case background and followed by the 3 questions, and at the end we will talk about the conclusion. So now let's meet our group members.
Hello, my name is Zach.
And I'm Jeffrey.
I'm Judy.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jasper.
Okay, very clear, very good. Yes, move on. Which is good.
So before we start our presentation, let's watch a video first, which is about the Embrace Infant Warmer. Can you see it?
Just a small screen, whether you can enlarge. If not, it's okay. But the most important is about the sound. From time to time, it doesn't work. You try it first. In case it doesn't work, don't worry, okay? And then you can stop sharing and copy the paste to the link of YouTube, and then you share the screen about the YouTube. To see whether you can click the link here. If not,
Can you see the video? Is it too small?
I myself think it's okay, but I cannot hear any sound.
The video does not have sound, just some background music.
Oh, okay, then it's okay.
Maybe I can
Yes, copy and paste the link.
make it larger
Okay.
so that you can see it now.
All right. Yes, it may be one of the way to handle, no problem. Yes, good. So they only got a background music. So people look at the script, the subtitle, okay? 4 million die. Okay, so the number is very striking. This is the founder, Jane, the main founder.
So from the video, we have know some background information about the Embrace infant warmer. So the problem they were facing is that there are 4 million of premature babies die annually and 450 every hour. The main reason is that they have the hypothermia, but the incubators cost 20,000, which is very expensive for them. So,
Right, go
so
ahead.
they got the solution.
So hypothermia for people, in case you don't know, 低溫症, all right, and then low temperature disease, lack of fat to die. Yes, you move on.
So they got a solution. Jing Cheng developed a low-cost incubator, which is the Embrace infant warmer. So, what is the benefit of the Embrace infant warmer? It is that it is portable, safe, easy to clean, intuitive to use, and allow close mother-to-child interaction. And their mission is to give every infant a chance to live, grow, and dream. So how is it work? There are mainly 3 parts, which is the baby web, acute temp heater, and WAM pack. First, we can use the electric or hot water to heat the sponge, which will heat up to 37 degrees Celsius in 20 minutes. So why is it 37 degrees Celsius? It is because it is the temperature for a child to survive. So then put the sponge into the sleeping bag warmer, then lay the baby inside the warmer, and it will absorb heat from the baby if it gets too hot, while it will release heat when the baby gets too cold. So the sponge will remain between 35 to 37 degrees Celsius for more than or equal to 4 hours, and there will be an indicator when the sponge needs to be reheated. So now let me introduce the founders of Embrace. The first one is Jing Cheng. She is an MBA student. And next is Rahul Panekar, which is electrical engineering student. And next is the Linus Learn, which is a computer science student. And the final one is called Murthy, who is a finance and economics student. So Jen Chen, Tanaka, and Learn was studied at Stanford University, who took the same course designed for extreme affordability. Class goal is to solve the real-world problem by developing the solutions. The team was assigned to develop a low-cost incubator to solve the problem of premature babies. Another Stanford student, Murthy, joined the team later and was responsible to take the prototype to India to collect feedback. In 2013, Learn and Murthy left Embrace, while Chen and Panekar stayed and leaded. So what is the product development process? Here shows the process. They first start because they are assigned to develop a low-cost infant incubator, which can be used in the developing countries. Then they do some simple Google search and study the incubators. But after they study the incubators, they found that it is they need to create a warming device that can be used in rural village, but not make it more affordable. But then they developed the early prototypes. And then MultiJoy to collect the customer feedback, and all of them have promising prospects as they know that the premature baby lives are at stake. So now they have changed their intention. They first start the business because they're assigned to do a task, but now all of them think that they can help the baby, so that they change their intention, and then they gain momentum and have some clinical trial in 2010 and formally launched the product in 2011. And at the end of 2013, the product used in about 10,000 babies. So after study the case background, now I'll pass time to Jeffrey to talk about the questions.
And thank you, Judy. And this is the question 1. What target market does Embrace seek to serve, and how attractive is that market? And we all know that the target market should be decided while keeping the firm objective or the business mission. And before we talk about the target market, we need to know about the company objective. And the company objective is to protect some premature baby and to avoid the baby die due to the hypothermia. And because there are often some newborn premature baby, when they after birth, their parents did not send them to the hospital, to the incubator, so it caused a problem. Then they may be die due to the disease of losing temperature. So that this is the basic objective of the company. Then what is the target market? And the target market, it should be very important to identify the target market for a company, because when you identify the company, you may see that when and where you can sell the products and who will purchase it. And the target market is stand for a group customer having a same or similar interest. Okay, and let's move on to the target market, the first part of our question. In this case, the Walmart, it should be seen to serve the people who are living in India or Nepal, and they are having, having a lower income family or living in a remote area. For example, they are living in a village, and because the people who are living in remote area and low income family, they living backward, and they don't have some basic medical knowledge, and they don't know why they need to send their baby to the hospital into the incubator to keep warm, and or there are no hospital next to them, and even though they want to send their baby to the hospital, they need to take about 3 to 4 hours. So it may cause a problem for the hypothermia. And they are not only about the low income family or some people living in the remote area needs the product, but also there are some company, for example, hospital. And based on the article, we know that the incubator, it costs 20,000. It is a very high expense for the government or for the hospital. And some of the finder visit the hospital that they can see the incubator was empty. That means the incubator was useless. Then in this case, the hospital need to cut the cost so that they need the product. So the hospital is one of the target market of the Embrace product, warmer product. And the second one is about the government organization and some private clinics. It's just like a promotion or save more babies. For example, in private clinics, there should be some emergency issue that some person she need to born a baby immediately, so that he or she or the doctor need to have some basic material or some facilities to help them. So in this case, the product, it should be help them. And the last one, it should be the local NGO. It's as education that it can help the student or the family to teach them how to use it and how to settle down the product. Yeah. And based on, let's move on to the second part of the question. How attractive is the market? And as we know that, I mentioned before, there should be 5 types of company or person need that. A lower income family and remote area and hospital and government or clinics, they all need the product, so that it should be a high demand of product. And I separate 3 types of attractive. The first one is about the born rate. Second one is about the death rate, and the last one is salary rate. And for the born rate, we know that it is a millions premature baby born in India and Nepal. About 80% of them born in remote area, but they don't go to the hospital because they don't know why they need to go it. And the middle one is about the death rate. About 1 million or 4 million premature baby death. It should be a high rate because the premature baby, they don't have enough fat to regulate their body temperature. And some of the premature baby, they are often dead within 24 hours. So it should be the born rate and the death rate, it should have a relationship between each other. And lastly, and the low salary rate. And based on the research, we know that in India or Nepal, and it should be 500 Hong Kong dollar per month each of the people, and living in a low income family. It should be if you take your baby to the hospital, it should be high expenses. So the warmer, it should be cost about 200 Hong Kong dollar. It should be affordable for the people who are in need. So to sum up all together, it should be the 3 reasons that why it is attractive to the market. And let's pass the time to my teammate to talk about question 2 and 3.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Here comes to question 2 and 3. Question 2 will be presented by me, Jasper, and question 3 will be presented by Zach. We will present together. Question 2 is asking what examples of primary research that Embrace founders completed appear in the case. And do you know what is PRITOF? You can say it out or type the answer in the chat room.
So before presentation, talk about that, key component. Can anybody just try to recall and type in the chat room, or just, turn on microphone? PRITOF, what do they stand for? Anybody, any idea? Just try to participate, if possible. P stand for what? Anybody can help?
P stands for product.
Oh, dear. Yes, move on.
and trade-offs, and P stand for product feasibility analysis, and it stand for industry or target market feasibility. And third, O stand for organization feasibility analysis, and the fourth one is F stand for overall financial attractiveness. And the question 3 is asking what actions did Embrace founder take to solicit feedback from prospective customers, and what did they learn from those efforts? Next slide, please. And here is a brief summary of Embrace founders are using the product feasibility analysis to invent a new product. First is they went to Nepal to understand the disability and the demands of the incubator. And second, funders talk face-to-face with potential customer, that is pregnant woman. This is the only way to know if the warmer is exactly what they want to have the product. And the third one is funders brought their prototypes to test and collect feedback from the rural area. And fourth is the idea is to evaluate those pregnant women and invent reactions to the general concepts of the infant warmer, and to adjust, revise, and improve on the idea based on those feedback. Next slide, please. Now we will talk about the question 2. The first of primary research is gumshoe research. The gumshoe research is a detective or an investigator that searches around for information or clues wherever they can be found. A founder, Linus Learn, went to Nepal and go to the hospital, and he found out that many of the incubators in hospital were empty. Then Learn conducted an investigation and found out that around 80% of the premature babies born in the developing world are born in rural village, and they are never brought to a hospital or placed in an incubator. And the second of primary research is a concept test. Concept test is involve the product and show the product to the public and to collect feedback. Murthy took the prototype of Embrace infant warmer to rural village in India to solicit customer feedback, and he found out that women in India believe that Western medicine is very powerful, so they routinely cut back on the recommended dosage of Western medicine just to be safe. Next slide, please. It is passed to Zach to present it.
I will present what are the feedback and where are they from. And one of the feedback is on the trip to Nepal to understand the disability and demand. From this face-to-face effort, they learned that Indian women believe Western medicine is very powerful and therefore will cut the doses of prescribed medicine. And they brought their prototypes as a concept test to test and get feedbacks. And at the feedback, they find out that the woman would want to lower the ideal temperature that keeps the embrace warm. And they also learned from the prototype that they just had to install basically an on and off switch only to keep the mother from lowering the temperature from 35 to 37 degrees Celsius. And lastly, from the Gamsus research, they also learned that the villagers want a pricing option, such as the option to rent the embrace warmer. And let's pass to Jasper again.
Thank you, Zach. And the third primary research is face-to-face with potential customers and evaluation. Villagers from rural village in India send their feedback to Embrace funders, and Embrace funders found that villagers wanted to have different pricing options, like an option to rent the warmer rather than to buy a warmer. Now I will pass to Zach to continue.
Yeah, as they listen to their customer feedback, they listen to their customer. And there's a conventional incubator is worth about 1 million India rupees, and Embrace Warmer costs only 15,000 Indian rupees on average. And Rahul Panikkar, the co-founder and president of Embrace Innovations, does not disclose their finance or sales figure, but they said the product is in use in about 1,000 clinics and hospitals in 10 states. Our margins are enough to enable growth and for the development for the future products. And next page. And lastly, I will show you an actual case of the Embrace infant warmer can help their targets. Here's Nagamani's story. As you can see in the screen, Nagamani and her husband are both day laborers. They have a 4-year-old son, and Nagamani just gave birth to twins, a girl and a boy. The twins were born through a normal delivery, but were severely underweight, weighed 1.2 kilograms each. Fortunately, the hospital had 2 embrace warmer at hand, and both babies could be cared of. They were placed in Embrace infant warmer for 6 days, which helped them to maintain their body temperature and gain weight. The Embrace devices provide a way for these tiny babies to receive much needed, affordable, extended care in the hospital. And this is the recent development of Embrace innovation. The first one is the development, the different variation of the infant protection, the Embrace Nest and Embrace Care. Embrace Care is even work with no electricity support. And they also have earned some awards, the Economist Innovation Award, TED Fair Award, and Schwab Foundation Global Social Entrepreneur of the Year Award. And now you may think that what can we help such a social enterprise? Yeah, we can donate online at One Heart Worldwide or donate a check at Minium Village. And lastly, this is our conclusion. And Embrace Nest infant warmer is a great idea. It helps a lot of pregnant women to keep their infants alive and with a lower price. And the target is Indian and Nepal poor family and remote area. The products from the research and market analysis is from concept, prototypes to gathering feedbacks. And as they are successful now, the product is used in about 1,000 clinics and hospitals in 10 states. And last, we will have our reference shown in the page. And this is the end of our introduce to embrace infant formula. Thank you.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, okay, so before I give comments, maybe I will hand over the stage to the critic group. And critic group, you can copy and paste the question one by one, pop up into the chat room, and also turn on microphone to ask question to see which of them said to answer your question. All right, okay, critic group, go ahead. All right, yes, and then Claudia, maybe you can also turn on microphone and try to ask, and classmate, you can listen and also try to read page 12 of course online, and not course online, sorry, PowerPoint slide, all right?
I want to ask, is this really attractive for the mothers? Because the product seems not easy to control, and the mothers lack of the knowledge to use it. If they do not know how to control in urgent situation, then the baby may die. Since their response are quite positive in the survey, but when they do not know how to use, is it really attractive for the mothers? Thank you.
Well, I can answer to that question. Firstly, they not only sell it to the mothers, they also sell for the hospital and clinics. So the doctors and nurses will have them. And also in the question 2 and 3, we said that from the experience and their prototype test, and they get a feedback of, they just need to install basically an on and off switch to keep the mother from the lower temperature. So there's only on and off switch. So there will be not difficulty to use in this product.
Okay, let me do a little bit supplement. Even though we don't have final exam, but for the case final exam, if there is an in-hall exam, people always think that they have, got a good answer, but the grade is lower than what they expect because they thought they have done a good job. Actually, they are moving in the wrong direction. Actually, for the presentation group, they also deviate from the the meaning of the question. The question asks about how attractive is the market. And no problem, Cornelia, it's normal, right? You said that in page number 12, is it really attractive to the mothers? Your focus is on the product, but the question is not the attractiveness of your product, how good your product to the target market, but they target on some category of people, whether this category of people, not product, are attractive. And that's why they said that, of course, they set the target market of these people. They are very attractive because of the birth rate. So many people give birth, so the product is useful to them. And they also mentioned 20 million people die. Also, they mentioned that the death rate, all right? And that's why the target market, not the product, the target market are facing serious situation. A lot of baby born, but at the same time, a lot of baby die. And that's why they are a large market. So we invent something to help these target market. And that's why our product is attractive to them. Cheap, easy to use, something like this. But their focus should be on the target market, not in particular product. So in future, when you handle exam question for exam in this subject, other subject, okay, if applicable, and then that's why make sure you are doing the right thing. Interpret the question correctly. Otherwise, you spend half an hour answering, but day one, you are moving in the wrong direction. And then, this is really miserable if you misinterpret the question, all right? Anyway, the question itself is good, but somehow a little bit misinterpretation. All right. So now for the next question.
Yes, according to Pitoff's financial feasibility, the traditional baby incubator needs 20,000 USD. Compared to this product, only 25 USD is still much cheaper. But is it true that the market target is the rural women? Since that for the rural women is quite expensive to them.
Okay, present group might need to, consider, think about that. So I will, even that area, yes, you try to see how you deal with the questions.
Yeah, according to our research on the Embrace Innovation, they would have some charity support to the woman you said, which is more poor to other Indian or Nepal women. They would give the Embrace warmer for them for free price. It's also an advertising for their product and let people use for like product test or a way to have advertisement.
All right. Okay. Yes. Once again, Nicole, your question is talking about. I said Nicole. No. Lydia, right? Okay. Your question is about the US dollar 25 and $20,000. So for the Pitoff, the financial feasibility is about our own company, Embrace Infant Warmer. When we produce the product at a low cost, sell at a low price, whether it is feasible or not comparing the incubator. They are not producing incubator, so you cannot really compare. But from the consumer, from the target market, of course they cannot afford the 25,000. That's why your product 25 US dollar is okay. But as far as financial feasibility analysis is concerned, they talk about Embrace Infant Warmer, whether they sell at a low cost, whether they can survive if the cost is very expensive to produce, need $50, but they sell 25. So financially not feasible. But we are not comparing that with the 20,000 US dollar. They are not producing incubator. So we are talking about two different stories here. All right. Okay, maybe next question to see whether other question come up. Yes. Okay, this is Angie, right? Yes, go ahead, Angie.
The company originally planned to sell the aroma directly to local pregnant women. However, in 2016, rural pregnant women were unable to pay 25 US dollar for the purchase. So they changed the way to sell to the United States and donate one to Indian pregnant women. Does this approach go against company's original idea? Thank you.
So Angie, you try to do additional research or what, which is good. Okay. All right. Present group.
Well, according to our research and find on the Embrace Innovation website, they can still brought it in India, but mostly is the hospital and the clinic. Then I don't think it is go against company original idea because the product itself has a cost, and I think 25 US dollars is already a lowest price for you to give birth a baby safely. And also, as I say, they will donate their product to the mother who is ultimately poorer than others. So I think the their original idea is to help the poor or remote area pregnant lady to give birth safely. So I think they keep their original idea and aim up till now.
Okay, yes, let me try to help a little bit. I'm talking about the original idea, of course, as an entrepreneur, recall, which, you got innovative idea, and also you try to have PICT. PICT stands for passion for the business, execution intelligence, etc. So passion for the business, customer focus, which the key concept is to make people's life easier. Originally, they do a research, Google search, saying, wow, my goodness, so many babies die. And that's why they try to do something to make people's life easier, to save their life. But in the longer term, in order to be sustainable, all right, the word sustainable, 可持續發展, is also for people who are doing the next presentation. That is the, the key concept they need to work on. In order to be sustainable, they sell it to a country which is a little bit affluent, 比較豐裕啲嘅, all right, a little bit rich, but at the same time, they try to donate because the poor are the people they want to help, the developing country, Indian pregnant women, and that's why, yes, they also donate. So the ultimate goal is to help the poor, to save the baby in those underdeveloping country. And then yes, this is really miserable. Earlier they said that so many people, baby die, and then later on we'll talk about the numbers. All right, so and that's why they keep on have the passion for the business, customer focus. No matter what, they try to help the women, the poor ladies, the mothers in some rural area. Okay. Yes, move on. It's good you do research and try to ask question, some update about 2016 something. Okay, yes, next question.
Yes, I'm Nicole.
Okay, yes, Nicole. Yes, sorry, just mix up with the two. Yes, go ahead.
About the safety problem, the PowerPoint slide 5 stated that it needs electric or hot water to heat the pouch. Then on slide 10, the market target is people who living in a remote area. So I want to ask if there are any electric outage over the remote area, is there any contingency plan for them? Because although the customer can use the method of hot water, it still takes time. So when the pouch out of control, is that really can keep the baby safe in an urgent situation? Thank you.
Okay, good. So touch on several points to see how the present group tackle this problem.
Yes, I think the family will know when or where they will have their baby give birth. For example, it's at home, pregnant lady is going to give birth, and the family member can actually boil the water first. Is maybe only 1 or 2 minutes, and I think this is way small time to maintain the embrace care function. And also I've give an additional information of the embrace care, which is the new warmer of the embrace innovation. It can use in home and work without electricity and is intuitive enough to be used by healthcare worker or a mother. And the doctors prescribed it as a complement to skin care to extend reliable thermal care for the baby. So I think there may be a new product that can not use the electricity and warm water also.
A further explanation, and as what said is that, and the people in the rural area, especially in those India or Nepal, such as developing countries, and in our presentation, it said that those women will not send their babies to the hospital. That means they will not burn their baby in the hospital. So they will know that when the pregnant woman feel pain, and they will ask the experienced woman that's experienced in the for the woman to give birth to the baby. So they will find that woman and they will prepare all the materials such as the hot water. So they will use that hot water to preheat the warmer. So the hot water is for the people in rural area, but the electricity is for the hospital. That means, and we discuss in the, I think it's in slide. Let me see, is in slide number 11. It is for the hospital and government entities, and that means because it is a demand in the hospital, that's from the baby in the, I think it's in ICU or somewhere, and they will not directly put the baby in the incubator. They will use the warmer to put the baby in the warmer and move the baby into the room that is all the incubator. So electricity for that usage. And I think it is to answer your question. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yes, I consider second Jasper trying hard. Maybe I can also do some supplement here. I go to slide number 16. Okay, so in the presentation, they said that one of the founder, Linus Lane, go to, have a field visit, just like a detective. That's why they call it Gumshoe research, and they go and observe what is happening. And they found that the incubator is, most of them are empty. And of course, we don't look at it from a Hong Kong point of view. Hong Kong, we are really in a rich, affluent city. We have clean water to drink. We have all sufficient. If the baby got some problem, they immediately put in this kind of things, which to keep the baby with a lot of connection to the medical device or something. So why 80% of the incubator are empty? For several reasons. This is expensive. People might not be able to afford, number one. Number two, the women in the rural village, as what they said, they give birth in their home village or at their home. In case the baby got some problem, low temperature disease, hypothermia, it takes 4 or 5 hours travel to the hospital. The baby already died simply because, they cannot afford such a long distance travel. And that's why they're empty. Number one, maybe expensive, economic reason. Number two, because of the environmental problem. Environment means that too far away. Number three, also the hospital is one of the target market, which you make a good point, electricity, right? Of course, this type of incubator, it will connect with a lot of medical device. And then, but the case also mentioned, the electricity supply is very spotty. It means that sometimes they will go off for 3 hours, 4 hours, but that is the golden time, 黃金救命時間 for the babies. And even though I am in the hospital, I put the baby in the incubator, but if the electricity go off, and then it can be a serious problem. And that's why even hospital, even though they have this kind of well-equipped incubator, but they still need that. And for the Embrace infant warmer, of course, if they have electricity, they can recharge that. If not, they can have warm water, hot water. The baby dies simply because of the hypothermia. All right, they need body heat, and that's why put in hot water. They can immediately use it rather than putting in incubator, but no electricity and no warm given, and it can be a problem. And that's why incubator empty because of expensive, too far away from the woman, the people who need that, and also they need electricity. But Embrace Informal is urgent survival tools. Okay, no electricity, no problem. Hot water, something like this. And then they can just, in a village, they may use some charcoal, some coal to burn hot water, to boil hot water and put into the pouch, and then it works. And that's why that is part of the answer. Electricity can be one of the problem. And that's why family clinic, hospital also need that. And that's why Embrace Infant Warmer, they get some contingency plan. You can recharge with electricity, but poor village, they don't have that. This is not the end of the world. They still can put in hot water so that the baby can have some body heat to, you know, make them survive, something like this. All right. Okay. And then next question. Any more questions? Bonnie or somebody, right? Okay. Yes, Bonnie, go ahead. Go ahead.
Firstly, if this for the mother from the rural village, for durability, it can be used several times, but not very much time. And for the hospital and clinics, and I think they will have a renting pricing option that can rent their Embrace Warmer to the hospital, and after the rent run out, and the hospital will take it back to the Embrace Innovation, and maybe the innovation can use the old warmer to recreate a new warmer.
And I would like to have some supplement. The product can be used up to 50 times, and it can be used for 1 year from the time when the company sells the product to the first purchaser.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let me also try to do some debriefing. I can see that, you know, this is a hard time for Zach, and that's why back up by Judy and back up by Jasper, something like this. All right. So, Bonnie, your question, according to DATA data or data, you pronounce it. Basically, this is from chapter 2, I presume, talking about the quality characteristic of opportunity, which is two separate things here. And without so-called the data in chapter 2, if you're referring to the chapter 2 one, which is not applicable here, that is the quality characteristic of opportunity. And then here, yes, for the product itself, talking about the durability and also maintenance, which should not link with data, but itself can be an issue. Yes, durability, they are simple to use. They don't have to connect to any particular medical device. And then that's why they can produce cheap. Even though this is cheap, but it saves millions of babies' lives and easy to maintain. Okay, so from the introductions with those animation, for example, go to slide number 6, number 5. Okay, so they tried to introduce, yes, got 3 components, easy to use, and then to put some hot water inside, that's it. Rather than a lot of high-tech, you know, device, mechanical, electrical one, no such thing. So should be easy to maintain, but you know, also quite durable, 50, 60 times, something like this, but not really related to data, something like this. Okay, so this is what the product, the advantage of the product. And then also they said that a switch on and off button, rather than a lot of, adjust the temperature, because the Indian lady don't trust the Western medicine. Whenever they think the medicine is strong, they will reduce the dosage, as what they have mentioned, all right? Okay, I still have a little bit more debriefing, but any more questions from the critique group? Okay, yes.
Yes, the last question.
Okay,
If the product have any problems such as broken, is there any after-sales service for hospital or rural area pregnant women? Can the pregnant women afford the price again? Thank you.
As what we mentioned before, the product sent to the rural area is give them for free, and so the product, if there are any problems, so we will those funder, the company will, they will not know this problem, but if they know this problem, they will have some special arrangement for those broken product in the rural area. And if in the hospital, they will have they already built up a connection, so we will, the company will have some maintenance or exchange for the new one. So this can resolve the problem.
Okay, yes. After these questions, the present group pause for a few seconds, half a minute, simply because critique group try to ask question which to challenge what they have done, whether they are sufficient or something wrong. Sometimes some sort of hypothetical question. Even though the question itself is good, but may not be applicable as the duty of the critique group something. So when you talk about, yes, any after-sales service, etc., for hospital and pregnant women, and also whether they can afford the price again. So just like the Hong Kong government, when they want to give out the caring fund, and then they may go through some NGO. That's why NGO is embrace the target market, one of the target market. Sometimes those Jane, Linus, and also Murty, or those people may not be able to do everything, and that's why some NGO, non-government organization, some voluntary agents, they may help to support them. Okay, so that's why we need cooperation with the commercial firm or the non-profit making organization, government, hospital, etc., etc. But the key concept is we need to ask questions of what they have done rather than a little bit hypothetical one, even though that may be the problem they will face in future or in their operation, but focus on what they have done. All right, something like this. So critique group, any more questions from critique group?
Yes.
Go ahead. If you have question or no more. Yes, you have question, right?
No question is the comments.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, if you want to give comment, go ahead.
I quite appreciate the answer of question 1 and 2. It is good and details, but the question 3 only briefly talk about what did they learn from those efforts. Maybe add some example about their failed experience before, or tackle the harder challenge part in the article.
You mean towards the end of the article, they have some challenges? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. And all right.
Learn from the difficulties. Like this. And a little bit late to send to us.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thank you for the comment. All right. So maybe I also want to give some remark. Indeed, actually, I quite appreciate both group. First of all, talking about presentation group, at least they care to ask me questions, to ask for direction, and also they try to do something. As I said, I don't want to embarrass people. You know, after the presentation, if you didn't come to me at all, I say, oh, you are in the wrong direction. We are talking about the attractiveness of the target market, not attractiveness of the product. Oh, you didn't use any terminology, disability, concept test, concept research, but they do ask me for further consultation, even though a bit late. And that's why they send to you maybe 2 versions or a bit late. And then I apologize on behalf of the presentation group. At least from a lecturer point of view, I appreciate at least the passion, really willing to spend time to do something rather than hey. And then they do have, you know, making the effort, okay, to work on the questions. All right. So this is also something I appreciate. Capability counts, but the attitude, the mentality, the passion is also important matter for students nowadays. And that's why I appreciate the presentation group. Yes, they may be a little bit late because they consult me for the second time and they have also adjusted something. I give them advice. Otherwise, they may have done something wrong in the presentation. I want them to demonstrate a positive example. What are the good answers, something like this. And also for the critique group, yes, your critique group, I can also see that I really appreciate. Just let others know, all right? So this group will be presenting in week number 8. Week number 8, this is week number 5. They already make appointment with me, okay? So I also really appreciate, yes, I love students with this mentality, prepare things in advance, not a deadline fighter, or at least willing to ask. Okay, and then that's why you can see they have produced, you know, make up different critique question, even maybe more than 1 per student, and also to give comments. And that's why, yes, the hardworking attitude already, you know, give a very good impression for both group. And then, you know, the critique group, you know, their presentation in week 8, and they try to, you know, email me and make 2 appointments. Okay, so it is really good. JTO is always here to help you to serve people, and you know, I won't have the mindset that, hey, you're wasting my time, get out. No, all right. The more you ask, the happier I am, because I really want to help students. Okay, so I appreciate much. And when you talk about question 1 and 2, yes, they make it clear. And question 3, they already answered, you know, correctly. It linked with question 2. Question 2, you got an observation, incubator empty. What will you do? You go to the family, you know, the day in a line research, which is part of concept research. You know, bring the prototype, show them, so that they can get the comment, concept test, and also observe how they use, so that they can have a on and off, okay and not okay button or something like this. So question 3 already answered sufficiently, all right? Okay, so that's the basic comment about the content, or showing my appreciation for both presentation and critique group. So let's go back to my comment on the PowerPoint and in the presentation. As usual, 3 areas. Talking about the PowerPoint slide, yes, they try to make it clear, systematic, and then also with different color scheme. Yes, you know, all these are very good. And the PowerPoint slide are tidy and neat, and they also presented in, you know, a way that back and forth, rather than one person finish question 2, the other person go for 3. They will say, when we talk about question 2, 2A, and then they answer 3A, and then 2B, they answer to 3B. So they, you know, back and forth. This is also one of the way to present. Also, they try to make things interactive. Unfortunately, classmate, you are rather passive. JTO always say, 家家有求. You know, next time when you do present, when you try hard to ask people questions or even JTO, sometimes it would discourage the people and nobody responds. And then for JTO, I try to do that to invite people. If people have no comment, I just oh, no response, let me move on, which is not JTO's cup of tea, because I really want interaction to tell me you are alive. Just joking, okay? You are still alive, you are still awake, and that's why when people respond, I really feel appreciate much. All right, something like this. But go back to their presentation, PowerPoint slide, PowerPoint wise, they are doing in a good way, and also try to make it interactive and ask people pitch off, even though nobody responds, something like this. And then also quite clear. Just for example, go to slide number maybe 18. Okay, something like this. All right. For the future presentation, yes, actually that is already clear and tidy and neat with the 4 points here. However, because for this course we have critique group, it may be better elaborate a little bit more so that the critique group can see what you will be going to say, and then to see whether they agree or disagree. But for other subject without critique, this is also good. You provide keyword and you elaborate. So this is what students should have. But because entrepreneurship, a startup, we have a game, a rule called critique. So elaborate a little bit more will be a little bit better. All right. Okay. Yes. Basically, that's it. You can stop sharing. Both have done a good job. But critique group, some of the questions are a little bit sidetracked. Okay. So let me try to do a final debriefing before I give you a short break. And from the presentation just now, even though there's no clear picture, but once again, I hope you have. Shit. Where is my? Here. Okay. So I repeat once again. Yes, they do talk about pitch off, even though they focus on the product and target market only. All right, and important for your upcoming business plan, which account for 40% of the assessment. And then later on, when you have your new product idea, and then when you write your report, so I expect to see concept test, make up a statement, and then bring it to the people with the prototype to ask comment and feedback, so that you can take action to adjust this so-called procedure, 呢個工序, I expect you will do that. And in the report, buying intention survey, for their case, they don't have really, a questionnaire for people to fill in, but they do ask people about, do you think it is expensive? If expensive, you cannot afford, we can have a rental option. In the way they do a verbal survey, but for your product, you may go to Mong Kok, go to Causeway Bay to ask people to fill in questionnaire, buying intention survey. Of course, you talk to people face to face to ask for feedback, and also a consumer research, also day in the life research. You also may do some internet. For their case, they start with secondary research, go to Google, and they found that also something I want to just quote. They talk about 20 million people die per year, but in the case, believe it or not, the case mentioned that 1 million people die. Not people, baby. 1 million baby die within 24 hours of their birth. 出世24小時之內死亡 because of hypothermia, the 低溫症. And then don't you think it's miserable? You know, the mother pregnant for 10 months, 50 weeks, something 40 weeks. And then after this long pregnancy, the people gave birth, supposed to be very cheerful, but so sad. In those developing countries, 1 million baby die within 24 hours because of hypothermia. 出世24小時之內死亡，因為低溫症。And that's why they embrace infant warmer. is useful because they are not in a hospital, they are too far away, they are too expensive. That's why don't look at it from a Hong Kong people point of view. Hong Kong is a lucky land, China is a lucky land, all right? People are rich, they can afford a lot of advanced medical equipment. And just a small item, $25, a blue stuff, can really save babies, you know, to keep them body heat so that they won't die because of hypothermia. And that's why they are really doing something good, make people's life easier. All right. So thank you for both group presentations. Jato talked too much. We spent 1 hour and 10 minutes on the presentation. So break time now. We finish presentation. We finish critique. I have also give comment and debriefing, not only for the presentation, but for also your future written report. So after the 5 minutes break, come back with chapter 4. Last time, thank you for those who respond to me, reminding me that I just start with the summary note. So I will start on that spot again, and then I will speed up with chapter 4. Frankly speaking, chapter 4, a little bit related to next week's presentation, and most of them are just something nice to know. So I'll come back with chapter 4. So break time now. Okay, 5 minutes break. Let me try to give you a little bit idea what is it about. Okay, so to make it short, we have some basic introductions about business model and also you know, the value, capture value, and then deliver value. And the key part is about the bottom part, the 4 major components. I call it SORF: strategies, resources, financial, and operation, which the 4 key items, 4 terms for the upcoming presentation next week. Talking about, you know, the 4 models for TOMS. All right. So in particular, the presentation group for next week, you know, working on business model. Okay. So keyword SORF. Now you can see from the PDF file, SORF, we got ABCD, we got AA, AB, AC, AD. R, strategic resources, we got BA, BB. And then the third one, C, we got C, ABC, and then D, ABC. So later on, in the PowerPoint slide, we just present that in a systematic way, and I will do a little bit fast because, frankly speaking, apart from the 4 components, SORF, all the content might not be very related to your business plan. Just know what is happening. It might not really have a particular model for you to apply or something like this. That's why I can go for a little bit fast. For the upcoming business plan, chapter 3, extremely important. Chapter 5, extremely important, but chapter 4, you can just something nice to know. Whenever something is important, I will let you know. Otherwise, I will go for a little bit fast. I aim to finish chapter 4 within this class. Okay, so bear in mind, talking about the key terms, which is 2 business model, centered and destructive. And also talk about SORF. So this is the key concept, all right? So let me try to start after the, you know, pre-lecture briefing. Let's start chapter 4. Okay, let me see, sharing. Hold on, maybe something wrong with my computer. Share screen. Oops, give me a few seconds. How come? Yes, it works now. All right. So if you did not see the PowerPoint slide, let me know. Okay. Otherwise, I suppose you are now seeing the PowerPoint slide. Okay, hold on. Ask my team first. Okay, yes. People privately write to me. I need to also take care of that. Okay. Yes. Whenever you want to make appointment, email me so that I can put into my record and then mark down and also check whether we have the consultation room available, whether it fit my schedule, etc. So better to email me rather than privately WhatsApp here. But you can not WhatsApp privately private chat here. Okay. All right. Let's start. Chapter 4, developing a business model. Okay, so after we conduct feasibility analysis, desirability, demand, concept tests, face-to-face customer research, the idea is feasible. So if idea is feasible, the next task is to develop a business model. So people might ask, what does a business model means? All right, so I will elaborate a little bit later on. Let's move on first. So as far as the learning objectives is concerned, we are talking about the timing. When should we make up a business model as a basic introductions? So we will cover that about the timing. And also in the summary note, you saw that we have two types of business model. One is called standard, traditional. The other one is called non-traditional, destructive. And then the key part, the 80% of the PowerPoint slide go to the 4 components. The 4 components we just mentioned is SORF. We'll cover that, ABCD, okay, SORF for the 4 components in the template of a business model. Okay, so let's start. And in case I'm going too fast, you can stop me and say that Jito too fast, slow down. All right. As I said, if they are not particularly important for your business plan, I try to make your life easier. I try to just introduce something which you don't have exam. You don't need to memorize all this concept for the exam, for the midterm test, and also not quite useful or not quite directly related to your business plan. No particular terminology like Gamsut research and like concept test, buying intention survey, no such thing, all right? But for presentation purpose, the 4 component SORF, the present group must need to know. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so as far as a business model is concerned, the model, how you operate, because the main concept is value. You try to create value, deliver value, capture value. Okay, so create value, deliver value, capture value. That's why keyword value. You try to create, deliver, and capture. And when is the timing of doing that? And just now I mentioned in chapter 3, as the presentation just now, we have talked about feasibility analysis. And then after we confirm that the idea is feasible, we want to go a step further. So we make up a business model. Okay. And after making up the business model, next week we will cover chapter 5, which is another analysis, which is called industry and competitor analysis. Competitor, all right? And then I can tell you, for your upcoming business plan, chapter 3, very important. Chapter 5, very important. For chapter 5, I think I need to spend at least 1.5 lecture on this, because those concepts, you should also use that in your business plan. But here, I would just turn on my turbo, all right, to go over, in particular for the people who are presenting, it will be something that you need to know, okay? So this is the plan for what I'm going to do in the next 1 hour, okay? So let's move on. Business model, something like a definition. You try to create value, deliver value, and capture value, all right? Okay, take a look here. Hold on, let me try to discuss that so that I can show you discuss. Okay, let's get back here. to get rid of the writing. Okay, so in chapter 2, we have idea, recognizing opportunity, generating idea. Chapter 3, feasibility analysis. And now we deliver a business model, which is we focus on value, create, deliver, and capture. Create value, deliver value, and then in the summary note, you can see the logic behind, what are the linkage, and then we make up a business plan. So what I said here, suppose the business plan, let me get the pen first. Where am I? How come? Hold on. My pen disappeared. Just let me see. Oh, right here. Come back here. Okay. As I said just now, chapter 3, which is important. And then now we're in chapter 4, some basic concept. And then the business plan is in chapter 6, which is what you need to do is to write business plan, 40% of the total assessment. And in between, another important chapter is chapter 5. So 3 and 5 are important chapters. Okay, so we will cover that next week. And the other week. Okay, for those who are non-business students, just take a look, okay? Especially you are not talking about BFS. Value, deliver, capture value. Whenever an organization, you try to make people's life easy, you try to create value to your customer, which you have PICT, passion for the business, which you have customer focus, which you have tenacity despite failure. But we are now talking about focus on passion for the business, which you make people's life easier, customer focus. And that's why you try to create value to them. And hopefully the customer like your product, you can earn money from them, you can capture value from the customer. And also you build a good relationship. So this is from some marketing rationales, just nice to know, all right? I just want to help those non-business students to take a look. We won't have an exam on that, don't worry. And then for the second part, when we talk about a business model, as I mentioned, the standard one, which is, we also call it a traditional business model. We try to operate in a traditional way, the usual way of handling the business. Okay, traditional business model, very standardized, very standard. And this is what you said. The traditional one is you create, deliver, and capture value. And a traditional way to operate, for example, when we talk about auction, people always think about Yahoo auction and eBay. When we talk about franchise, everybody will come up 7-Eleven, something like this, of course. And then freemium business model. People who present last week talking about Jesse, Jerry, Lon, and the launching. And then yes, we talk about Dropbox last time. And when we talk about the budget, low cost, okay, just like the airline, the budget airline, the cheap airline, Lim Hong, and we think of Hong Kong Express. Cathay Pacific is a traditional one, but when we have a low cost business model, okay, so we are talking about Hong Kong Express. And at this stage, you may ask, hey, what is meant by a business model? Okay, let me just try to give you one example. And hold on, discuss. Let me add one more PowerPoint slide here. Okay. So when we talk about business model, just give you some example. It happened in CTU in the past or in a lot of university, all right? When we talk about those canteen, hold on. Maybe I use this one. Use canteen as an example. So if you have ever visited some other canteen in university, in the canteen in other universities, okay, so you may find that the business model one, the traditional one, if you also have ever visited the CityU canteen, and then we try to buy ticket first. Okay, you go to the food counter and then you get the food. Okay, so this is one of the business model, how you operate your business. And then just like Cafe de Coral, just like Maxim, you go to the cashier to buy ticket. I want dinner number 4, or you say, you know, 豬扒飯, whatever, 焗豬扒飯. And then after you pay for it, you get a ticket, you go to the food counter, get the food, 2號餐, 豬扒飯, and then you get the food. Okay, so this is one way to operate a business, the business model. However, you may observe that there is another business model which, even though we are talking about fast food restaurant, you know, or even student canteen, sometimes if you visit PolyU, they have different canteen, and then if you got friends there, somehow you will get the food at the counter, at the food counter. And then you go to the checkout to pay for it. And then they will look at what have you got, and then you pay the money. So this is 2 different business models to operate. You pay first, you know, pay for the food, and then you get the food, all right, because they look at your ticket. But sometimes some other operator, they will say, you go to the food counter, the different, you know, store to get the food. And then after that, you go to the checkout cashier to pay for the food. So ticket first, get the food and pay first. So even though we are operating a canteen, a fast food restaurant, we still have different way to operate. This is what we call a business model, okay? And yes, just now we said that this is the traditional one, auction, franchise, freemium, premium. You can enjoy our apps, enjoy our service free of charge. If you want advanced technology, advanced function, you need to pay for that. Dropbox is one of the example. We also have some budget airline, cheap airline, Lim Hong. Overseas, they have Jetstar, Ryanair, Hong Kong, we have Hong Kong Express, even though COVID-19, everything stopped, right? So this is what we call a standard business model, a traditional business model. However, as far as entrepreneurship is concerned, we need to think out of the box. We need to have an innovative idea, creative idea, recall. All right, so of course, it involves a little bit risk, but you must have an innovative idea. You must have creativity in order to catch opportunity, and then you make good use of resources. So we will talk about resources later on. And actually in chapter 3, we're talking about financial resources, non-financial resources, all right? So as a non-traditional business model, okay, so destructive one. Example, we are not operating in a normal way, in a non-traditional way. This is called a destructive, all right? And then you change the normal mindset about how people works. Maybe, for example, when you want Apple fans, when you want a desktop, a laptop, you know, a notebook, you just go to the Apple shop, go to Fortress, go to Broadway. You just buy, I want the Mac Air, blah, 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 a particular model. But Dell, you know, at early stage, instead of so-called a standardized desktop computer, notebook, and then, you know, for desktop computer, you can tailor-make, just like what we have long ago, go to the 深水埗 Golden Center, 去深水埗黃金商場砌機 something like this. You can make up with your own preference, direct to customer. I want the cover will be pink in color, and then all the specifications, you can, just like you go to the noodle shop and you want different types of food, and then they will make it for you, okay? So rather than the readily made here, you just go there, buy this model, buy that model, you can tailor make. And of course, when we talk about cloud-based surfaces, in the past, if you want to take a taxi, you just go on the street, wave the hand, and the taxi will stop in front of you, and then you get on. So that is the normal way we operate. However, if you're a bright guy, a bright girl, and then you make use of technology, and that's why we have Uber, all right? So that is quite an innovative idea at that time. Now, of course, we have a lot of operators like that, but at that time, while you want to take a taxi, you go on the street, wave your hand, and then wait for the taxi to come. But as a disruptive model, you can make use of the technology to have a cloud-based service like Uber. And similar to these, we have GoGoVan. Okay, what they have said here, in case you don't know Chinese character, 颠覆, you try to disrupt the traditional business model, all right? This is what we call disruptive model. You see, as a bright entrepreneur, this handsome gentleman here, and then they start off with $20,000, become an 80 million, 8 million, but 80 million, business. And then because you have record, innovative idea, and this is what we call a disruptive business model. Rather than calling for a taxi, calling for a van delivery service, and then they have a disruptive business model. And that's why after this course, whether you are Japanese studies, whether you're finance, whether you are account, maybe it will inspire you to start something. Okay, so that's why you need to write business plan. I help you to go a step further. Okay, so this is about the disruptive business model. Okay, and now we go to the 4 major components, in the next few PowerPoint slide. And disruptive, innovative idea is you always try to think out of the box. Everything can be redesigned. We do not need to go for the traditional way. Sometimes it may not be very good. So if you have innovative idea, you can go for non-traditional or a disruptive model, which is, Disruptive Innovation Festival. Encourage people to think out of the box. Okay, this is what the basic concept. Now, let's go to the 4 components in the business model. Later on, I will show you business model. There are many different operating methods. Just now, I mentioned for a canteen, you can pay first, get the food later, or you get the food first. You go to the checkout cashier to pay for that. So we have different business model, all right? And that's why what we said, the author, these are the 2 writers of the book, okay, Barringer and Aaron, all right? And he said that, they said that, yes, we don't have one single business model applied to everything, all the industry, all the business. People can have different model to operate. No matter how many different ways you operate, there are some common set of attributes, some key characteristics. You may use different name, but basically, the business model should focus on a certain key features, characteristic, but you just use different name. As far as Barringer, Aaron, these 2 author, the writer of the book, he put it into this. This is S, strategies, O, operation. R, resources. F, financial. So we make it SORF. And if you can recall, under PTOF, which is in chapter 3, we already start something about this. Okay, so PTOF, the F stand for financial. And then if you can recall from last week, O stand for human resources and also non-financial resources. All right, something like this. So they are interrelated, but chapter 3 is more important. This one just nice to know. So we have the 4 components. For the people presenting later on, you will cover, you need to answer 3 of these 4 components, SORF. So of course, people already start making appointment with me, which is good. I appreciate much. So we will now spend the next 1 hour on S, strategies, ORF, which is the operation, which is resources with human resources and also non-financial resources. This is what we have covered in chapter 3, and also F, financial one. Okay, so we will now start talking about this. As far as the upcoming PowerPoint slide is concerned, and you don't need to take picture, worry about that. I just want to show you, yes, when you search from the internet about business model, we have many different business model, many ways to present, but they are more or less the same with different terminology. We have SORF, of course. All right, but for some other author, some other scholar, they will just put it as a value proposition, create value, deliver value, capture value, which is at the beginning. And then also they have target customer, distribution channel, blah, blah, blah. All right, so this is sample number 1. No need to memorize, no need to look into the matter, just nice to know. This is another sample, even though we focus on SORF. And then another example. Okay, so business model, they have partner, network, product, competency, core value. Okay, similar to value proposition, but they use a different terminology. And another example, wow, J2 is crazy, so many things, but no need to memorize, but just let you know, if you search from the Google business model, you will got thousands of results on all this. This is also another one. Once again, a value proposition, etc. A revenue stream. We'll talk about that later on. Okay, something like this. And having said that, let me repeat once again. You have this one, this one with a lot of grids. You have this circle, okay, model 1, and then something like this, and something like this. Okay, so I just want to bring out the message. There can be many different business model you can use. All right, let me go back to the summary notes to show you something, and then we'll come back here. Hold on, where am I? Okay, I presume that you are now seeing the summary notes. And what I want to say here is, in the summary notes, later on in PowerPoint slide, you will see that AA, AB, AC, AD, BA, BB, and then SORF, the third one, C, CA, CB, CC, DA, DB, DC, yes, DA, DB, DC, something like this. Okay, so the reason why I show you this alphabet is for you to better understand the lecture notes, and also I want to show you the differences. Let's take a look. Hold on. Let me get my pointer first. Okay. With just now, we said that AA, AB, AC, AD, no need to capture or just for your information, different model, they are somehow similar to what I'm going to cover, but just a different terminology. That's why you see AA, AB, AC, AD. All right, just some sample. I won't go into detail because it doesn't really help you much. All right, but just let you know. And what about this one? Yes, the same. AA, AB, AC, AD. Okay, so just let you know, even though they may use different terminology, but the concept is quite the same. All right. The business model canvas, something like this. Now, we go into SORF. SORF. Of course, I put it in the large one. We are talking about AS. Among the four, we will see A, B, C, D. So basically, as far as the core strategies is concerned, every industry, every organization, you always want to beat down your competitor to make yourself a market leader. And that's why you must have some sort of core strategies, something I am good at. All right. So for academic, just for example, if I talk about PolyU, can anybody think of anything to see whether they have successfully created some sort of core competency? People sometimes want to go to PolyU to go for some so-called good subject, 神科。你覺得 PolyU 神科係咩啊？ Anybody? Engineering, yes, okay. And then what others? What do you think of? Oh, yes, good, Jasper, thank you. All right, design, because they are quite unique. And then what about CU, Chinese University? What can you think of? Or CU have no core competency, right? People may not think of anything, all right? And then, yes, this is what the message I want to bring out. Sometimes Chinese study, because they are Chinese university, right? Thank you, Jasper. Okay, yes, core strategies. People may have different point of view. They may think that, their hotel management for PolyU is good, because they have a building, especially for that program, etc., etc. So depending on how you say it. All right. So I hope in future, I don't know, when we talk about UOW College Hong Kong, wow, Go Kiu Tai, a very good one. The Japanese study is the best in the town. So if a college, a university, they can create some sort of core competency, they can easily beat down their competitor. Okay, I hope as a college for associate degree, maybe account, ABAA, something like this. And then people say, well, if I study associate degree account, I must go to, CCCU, UW College Hong Kong. Wow, their bachelor degree, Japanese study is always the best in town, something like this. All right, so this is core competency. All right, okay. Now, as I said, we have ABCD. This is strategies, core strategies, and then later on we'll have AA, AB, AC, AD, talking about this item. For people presenting next week, one of the keyword in your upcoming presentation for week 6, which is target market. Now, we will move on in the next 4 or 5 PowerPoint slides talking about AA, AB, AC, AD. Let's move on. AA. All right. Strategies is the capital letter A. And then we are now in A, business mission. Next one will be AB, basis of differentiation, etc. Okay, so as a business mission, you will write up a statement telling people that we are good. We are not only good, but we are better than our competitor. Okay, last time we said that 人冇我有，人有我優。If you have something as a core competency, core strategies which people don't have, 人冇我有, you are good. Even though if you some competitor they have something, but your is different from others, 人有咩？我優 I am better than all my competitor. All right, in order to make your business successful for your business model. And that's why under AA, you first of all create a mission, vision statement, 願景使命 vision, 願景使命 mission, to tell people who you are or who am I. All right, and at the statement, try to tell people as a whole who you are. For example, just example, UOW College Hong Kong may have a mission statement saying that we are an international university because we are connected with UOW, which is better than suppose with other college 咩能仁書院啊，咩香港專上書院啊 so they are rather local, but we are an international college backed up by Australia, UOW College Hong Kong, and then we try to provide high quality, self-finance degree in language, Japanese studies, in 金融 finance, also in account. We got accreditation from, for CFA and CPA, etc., or the Japanese public exam, something like this. So you tell people, yes, we aim to provide high quality graduate. Okay, so this is your core competency. Okay, so this is AA. And as far as AB is concerned, 人冇我有，人有我優. Even though your competitor may also have Japanese studies in their bachelor degree, they also have finance, they also have account, whatever, but UOW is always better than others, something like this. So you can specify that, yes, this is our core competency in language, in finance, fintech. So for your information, our college is going to introduce a new program called fintech, okay, 金融科技. So we try to catch up with the trend to make UOW College forward. For other faculty, I don't know, a Japanese study, they are already good. Whether they have something, coming up for master degree, I don't know. So for the AB one, which is differentiation, which you try to make yourself different from your competitor. Yes, they also have finance program, account program, Japanese study program, but UOW College is always the best. Okay, so this is how you make up a business model to attract so-called customer. Of course, our customer student, DSE student, associate degree student. We try to solve your problem, satisfy your needs. Everybody want to get a good degree to go into, a good job, to get a good job. And we understand your needs. We try to train you up, something like this. Okay, so this is about AB, differentiation. What about AC? AC, a target market. So once again, for this one, especially non-faculty or business student, when you do a business plan, you may need to do a little bit more research. All right. In case you have a problem, Jato is here to help you. 幫緊你. All right. And for business student, you should heard about the STP, something related to marketing. Someone say, hey, not fair to me. I am, coming from a non-business faculty. Don't worry. Jato understand your needs. Jato understand your situation. So I'm always happy to provide consultation. So what is STP? If you want to do some research yourself first, yes, you type STP, then you will see a lot of things like that. S stand for, okay, maybe ask some business student, or you are a Japanese study, but you study BFS in your secondary school. STP stand for what? 有冇人晒下啦？話咗俾我聽。S stand for what？ 將 PowerPoint slide 其實有提示啦。To see whether anybody can help me to participate. Marketing concept STP, which is okay. No response, or you are typing anyway. Which is S segmentation. Yes, thank you, Siki. All right, segmentation. Okay, S segmentation. I will show you next PowerPoint slide. T. Targeting. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Jasper. P. Yes, positioning. All right. And for non-business student, if you have never heard about STP, don't worry. I'm always here to provide additional help, but I won't spend time here. And you can, talk to me, or you can do some Google search. Okay. Segmentation, targeting, and also positioning. And positioning related to product, place, price, promotion. All right. Nice to know. But in your future business plan, you might need to have a little bit knowledge on this. And then if you are puzzling, Jato is here to help you. Okay. So this is about AC, which is target market. And what about AD, core strategies, which is the product market scope. And with a business model, as a startup, usually I presume that you won't have billions of dollars, and then you are not really a giant empire. 你唔係一個巨人，唔係一個王國。And then when you do your work, study your bachelor degree, you work part time, you save some money, you start up small. Yes, it makes sense. And as things go on, you become successful, you can elaborate or you can expand your business. And that's why normally some business, they will start with a narrow or limited product scope. Just for example, okay, iPhone, you may start with iPhone 3, later on improve of iPhone 4. After you build up a brand royalty, after you build up a good market position, and then you try to pursue adjacent product, 周邊產品, you start with iPhone or Apple computer, something like this, all right? And then after that, just for example, iProduct, you start with iPhone 3, 4, 5, people, wow, iPhone product, the iProduct is good, Apple product is good. And then you have iPad, iPod, iWatch, iDo, all right? And then keep on developing with many adjacent products, adjacent and 周邊, all right? And then now even have iWatch, and eyeglass, eye belts, eye ring, I do. So start with small and narrowed limited product scope, and then as soon as you are successful, you try to expand as time goes. All right. And that's why you start with small, and then you also need to project in the few years' time, what are your ambition? How can you do that? Something like this. Okay, so this is about the market scope. Okay, I hope I'm not going too fast. And then let me see. Maybe I will lecture on few more PowerPoint slides to, it's already 5, I think. In that case, I know you're boring. Now we finish S, O, R, F. We finish the A, strategies. Next one, we go to the heading of B, resources. Okay, but at this moment, I'll give you a break. I know this is boring one, okay? So, and also take the attendance. Let me do this. Okay, so I finished talking about half of the lecture notes for chapter 4 now, and other short break to recharge your battery, and also taking this opportunity to take the attendance for the third hour, so-called tutorial. And after the break, after taking attendance, and then I will try to finish the chapter 4 and let you go. Okay, so here is the QR code. Give me a little bit time. I'm not sure where I have that. Okay, hold on. And here is, okay. I lost my one. Okay, so let me try to do it here. Okay, maybe you can go for break first. Let me go to the Moodle to get the QR code for tutorial. Okay, oops, wrong one. Sorry, something basically. Okay, you can go on break, and then I'm now retrieving the file. Password at the top left-hand corner, which is the CRN plus a prefix of 4, Thursday, and then 10874. All right. Thank you, Lord E. Okay, thank you, Mickey. Thank you, Lord E. Thank you, Yan Ting. Thank you. All right, and then yes, after taking attendance, got a break, and also just type a message when I ask STP. Thank you, Jasper and Jesse. Double J. Okay, double J. All right, to answer my questions. Thank you, Nadia. Okay, and thank you, Ten Chu Wei. I still haven't really got a chance to familiar with all the name yet. Okay, after taking that, taking attendance, go for break. Okay, back to lecture. Maybe I will also just try to speed up a little bit. As I mentioned, it might not be very directly related or you need to apply onto the business plan. I will speed up a little bit. If possible, I will let you go a little bit early, but I will stay behind to answer any question you might have for the upcoming presentation or any other thing you want to ask me. Okay, so let's move on. I presume that you are now seeing the PDF file. If not, let me know. Okay, so as far as the this PDF, the summary note is concerned, let's take a look. Yes, we have covered the second item, standard business model, and then disruptive one. For people presenting in the next few weeks, Tom's, also Warby Parker, eyewear glasses, you will have that cover about the disruptive business model. So we will look forward to the upcoming presentation on different one. All right, so the four important elements are the four components are SORF. And then let me try to get the pen first, highlight. Okay, see whether it works or not. All right. Okay, so people presenting next week, you already tried to make an appointment with me, which is good. I will provide you direction. So in your upcoming presentation, it will cover target market. And then now we go for SORF. Also in your presentation, this is also one of the questions they asked for, and also this one. Okay, so these are in particular the presentation group for next week. You need to pay, pay attention to this terminology. What I want to say now is for SORF, we finished AA, AB, ACAD. So we'll spend about only 15 PowerPoint slides talking about BA, BB, and then CA, CB, CC. and then DA, DB, DC, and then U, something like this. Okay, so let me try to move on. I will take away the summary notes and then go back to my PowerPoint slide, which is here. And then once again, if you cannot see the PowerPoint slide, let me know and let me move on. Okay, for just now, we have talk about the business model. Before I forgot, let me just try to help you a little bit. For the destructive business model, later on, 2 weeks later, you will hear a presentation talking about a company called Warby Parker eyeglasses. And in traditional, when we talk about the traditional versus the non-traditional one. So for standard business model, if you have short-sighted, and then when you wear glasses, hold on, let me see. Okay, you will go to a shop, whether upstairs or the ground floor shop, go inside, eye inspection, select your frame. But later on, 2 weeks later, you will hear a presentation. Even we can do it online. 配眼鏡都全上網配. And then we will hear about the presentation. This is a destructive business model. Okay, so just let you know in advance, in the upcoming presentation, we will also cover or touch some of the concept about a business model, whether you go for traditional one or non-traditional one, something like this, okay? Now, let's move on with this one. Okay, and then before the break, we have covered A, core strategies, and then AA, mission, AB, differentiation, AC, target market, and then AD, product scope. Okay, so it answer what, where, how, something like this. Now, we go for B. So you were expecting we got B, BA, BB, BC. Sorry, the C and then CA, CC, CB. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, and resources. We are now covering, hold on. How come my pen always disappear? Hold on. Something wrong. Okay. I got some technical problem. Hold on. Okay, let me stop sharing and do it again. I suspect something went wrong here to see whether it works or not. Okay, hold on. Give me 30 seconds. J2 is a computer idiot and I cannot work it out. Hold on. Let me close the file again. Sorry. Discard. Okay, and let me try to retrieve the file. Sorry. Item 4C. See whether I can do it back to normal. Okay. Now. Okay, yes, back to normal. Okay, so after we cover the core strategies, S, and then upcoming we will have O, and now is R, and then is F, SORF, which is resources. And as far as resources is concerned, we have two major types. All right, one is called so-called non-financial, categorized by not money, and the other one is financial. Financial resources, which we will have a separate heading. So for a general resources, okay, we call it general non-financial resources. We have human resources, and some physical material resources, which is not money one, okay, not financial, not money one. So we have so-called two major categories: general resources, financial resources. General subdivided into human resources and non-financial resources. This is a dollar sign, money sign. Okay, let's take a look. The second component is R, resources. Okay, so the resources, it can be something you can see, tangible, something you cannot see, intangible. Later on, you will see that some sort of account people, goodwill, and then also intellectual property, 知識產權, all right? Something like a major core competency. If you have some sort of resources which other people cannot imitate, hard to substitute, and then you are good, 你就天下無敵. We both have resources, but your resources is always the best, better than your competitor. People cannot substitute. Okay, example, talking about UOW College Hong Kong. And then for human resources, all right, if we have, capable, handsome Julian, very good in accounting with a good social network, a very high position accountancy, people respect. For Japanese studies, we have Go Kyu Tai, and then very friendly, very capable. Other university, even they have Japanese program, they don't have such a good teacher, because this kind of teacher, people cannot imitate, cannot ask somebody to substitute, and then you are always good. Your company will get a better competitive advantage. Okay, something like this. All right. And then now, resources, as I said, we got two categories. Let's go to the BA. BA, which what we said here is some sort of core competency, which just like core strategies, which will make you stand out from the crowd. 鶴立雞群，與眾不同. All right. And then the resources, the core competency, something you are very good at, which you can beat down all your competitor. It can be in many forms. Just now, we mentioned, we are talking about, the syllabus in the college is good. We have a good campus, something like this. We have a very good relationship with the customer. For college, a good relationship with the student, because the teachers are very good. So this is something, hey, when I want to go for a degree in Japanese studies, finance, account, I must go to UOW College Hong Kong, because their syllabus, the content is good, and teach us with many good knowledge, so that we are always better than our competitor. All right, something like this. And then these are the resources, talking about information resources, okay, talking about material resources and a lot of things. So now we go to the next one, key asset. For key asset, which is part of the presentation next week. So we have good, all right? And the key assets can be categorized into 4, which is physical, financial, intellectual, human. Just now I mentioned human resources, human asset. Our teacher is very good, very famous in Hong Kong. When the TV want to interview somebody, they will go to your college, your teacher, to answer some question, just like some technical expert, something like this. Like the COVID-19, you always go for Professor Yuan Guoyong, David Hui Shuchang. So all these are some sort of human assets. They have the human resources, okay? And of course, in the past, right, people, why they go to CCCU, not HACC, just for example, because we have a good campus location, Kowloon Tong, something like this. Equipment, advanced technology, the computer system, etc. And of course, we will cover that in chapter 12. 知識產權, all right? You have some sort of trademark, 商業登記標誌, and then we'll cover that in chapter 12. Or you have a good financial status, and then you got, you know, a lot of line of credit. So all these are the key asset as far as resources is concerned. All right, so that's all for so-called resources. Okay, and then we cover S, we cover R. So outstanding is O and F, and then we finish B. So we go for C. C, S, O, R, F. Okay. So as far as financial is concerned, later on we have CA, CB, CC. Financial means that this is the third component, which all about money. Okay. The in and out of money, where the money come from, where the money go. All right, so you have a good business model to talk about how can I earn money, how can I spend money. Okay, so just give you some sort of once again interactive activities. I hope you give a little bit response to me. Let's move on to the next one. So when we talk about financial, where the money come from, inflow of money. Okay, 收入來源 revenue stream, which is also one of the key word for the next week presentation. Stream 收入, the sources where the money come from. Okay, and then now interaction time. Yeah, shit. I forgot to do animation for this one.激死人. Okay, so for a restaurant, of course, you may think dining in. All right, people who dine in, especially in recent months. Today we have, you know, the dining until 10 o'clock. Okay, you know, after 6 you still can open. But as a restaurant, don't just focus on the diner. People come to have lunch, dinner, but you may have takeout. You may have some sort of prepackaged food if you are famous. A core competency. 我係皇冠一鮑魚. And apart from coming to my restaurant to eat my 鮑魚一鮑魚, so they also have some prepackaged food. So that is the source of income, 收入來源. And of course, you also make mooncake. During Dragon Ball Festival, you have some Chinese dumpling, 鹹肉粽, something like 瑤柱粽, 鮑魚粽, whatever. And of course, wedding banquet. So that as an entrepreneur, you start from small, but you also need to consider your revenue stream. You need to have different source of income. 開源節流. All right. Okay. Now, another example. This time I remember to do the animation. Time for people to respond to me, please. Okay. So, as a KMB, Kowloon Motor Bus 九巴, what should be their source of income? Can you think of? Go ahead, Tommy. Yes, bus fare. Very good, Jasper. Bus fare. And also advertisement on the bus, you know, the 車身巴士廣告 on the, you know, the shell of the bus. What else? Everybody? Thank you, Jasper. Really appreciate it very much. What else can you think of as a KMB? What else they can earn money? Of course, you take a bus and then you pay for the fare. Yes. Advertising on the, you know, the compartment of the bus, inside, outside. Nothing. Of course. Yes, mask. You know, I buy the monthly ticket on my 九巴月票，每個月送2盒 mask 俾我。Of course, they also sell it, and this is the, you know, one of the point. Let me just show you. Try to speed up. Corporate rental. You may rent their bus for your employee 員工接送. All right. And you might even have some sort of tourism, a pop-on, pop-off bus, and you earn from the tourists. You pay $50, travel along Nathan Road, cross Harbour Tunnel, etc. And then, of course, whether you are the bus, model figure, okay, you can buy from KMB, and also Jasper talking about, yes, nothing to do with transportation, which is the mask. They can, make it for their driver, they can sell it or something like this. So as a bright entrepreneur, if you are operating a bus company, don't just say, okay, as a bus company, I only got a bus fare. No, you can even think of these kind of things, nothing to do with transportation. But KMB, they need to produce for their bus driver, talking about 20,000 driver or employee, and that's why they make mask, they produce mask, and also they can sell it, as one of the revenue stream. Okay, so this is the example. And then after CA, we go for CB, which is here. All right, the cost structure. So as far as the cost structure is concerned, you also need to understand your business well, because you need to have PICT, execution intelligence, and you need to understand your business model. There are different types of business, okay, whether they are cost driven, the structure, all right, or they are value driven. For example, also interaction time to see whether we have only 1-2 students here, not 20-something students. Which mobile telecommunication company you are using? 用緊邊間電信公司? Anybody tell me? Okay, CSL. Wow, which SmarTone. How much for CSL? How much is your monthly fee? SmarTone, 3 Hong Kong. Yes. Just type number, how much you pay for your monthly data, and then of course voice, airtime, all right, how much monthly fee, even though different plan, 6 GB unlimited usage, how much you pay? Around 300. Yes, CSL, expensive. Okay, and then 98. Okay, you can see this is how I want to say, all right, value driven. You may go for CSL. Their monthly fee may be 398, 200 and something, and because you feel, yes, some sort of privilege. The people who serve you wear suit, 服侍你嗰個咧係着西裝嘅， but a cheap thing like J-Toe, okay, my monthly plan is only $68, and then people wear t-shirt to serve me, okay, and then somebody say $98, somebody say $118. So sometimes it is cost driven with a minimal, all right, but sometimes they might use the same network, but why somebody pay for 68, but somebody pay for 400 or even $598, $600, because they are value driven. You think that they are value for money, depending on their positioning, how they want to do that. So this is the cost structure. Or sometimes you need to understand whether you are machine or automation or labor intensive. Cleaning company, you need a lot of cleaning staff. IT company, you may need a lot of automation machine. And of course, the cost structure can be very different. All right. For the capital or machine-oriented automation, you mainly pay for maintenance, but labor, you pay for their medical expense, you pay for their holiday, maternity leave, salary, etc., etc. Okay, so something like this. And also, whether your business, which is high initial fixed cost or high recurring expense. Example, if I am a business operator for luxury watch, Rolex, I'm also selling diamond, all right? So you can see that I have a high amount of money because a large amount of money because I need to, you know, for display in my shop, the Rolex watch, 閒閒地8萬蚊, 10萬蚊, something like this. Okay, so this is something like a high fixed initial cost. But if I'm operate a noodle shop, 賣車仔麵，整架車仔麵個車 maybe $20,000 2萬蚊。And then I keep on buying fish ball, 魚蛋、豬皮, you know, 海柳, etc., etc. So different types of business have different types of cost structure. Okay, CC, funding. Earlier, we talked about the revenue stream, which is in, all right? And then, yes, where do the money come from? And then you need to understand that when I start my business, we need to have startup costs, one-time expenses, and also, you know, contingency plan. Startup costs, as a restaurant, you might spend billions of dollars, 千萬元裝修. Okay, so you need to pay for a high amount of capital costs for the decoration, renovation. Maybe you also need to pay for the license fee for the food, 飲食牌, 酒牌, etc., etc. So this is about the in of the money, you know, what you need the money for. And of course, you can do it by some sort of loan. Later on in chapter 10, we will cover how can I get the money. And also you need to write a business plan to see whether people can support you. All right. So this is something we will discuss later on. And you need how much you need, and then where the money come from. Okay, something like this. Okay, so this is C. Now we are moving toward the last few PowerPoint slides. We are talking about D, operation. As far as the operation is concerned, which is the final quadrant, which is the fourth component, S, O, R, F. We finished A, strategies, B, resources, C, financial. Now come to D, operation. Operation talking about the day-to-day management, the day-to-day habits of a firm, how many employees you want, how long you open your shop, a lot of detailed operations, all right? And if you are a trading company or you're a manufacturing firm, so if you are a manufacturing firm, yourself or you outsource to some other supplier to produce for you, so the cost structure may be different. You need to make up a business model, all right? Once again, as a restaurant, you are selling dim sum. Whether you go for a central kitchen, people to outsource manufacturing 蝦餃燒賣, the Chinese dim sum to you, or you employ some chef inside your restaurant in the kitchen to make up all those 蝦餃燒賣, and then this is your business model. How you buy the food by yourself, make it yourself, or you buy it from somebody else, all right? And if you're providing services, in your business model, you also need to tell people how we produce the service. In future, when you make up your business plan, you want to produce apps, so you need to tell people how your apps works, because you are not operating a business with physical product. 你唔係製造一個機械人, you are providing services, something like this. And for operation, you also need some partner network, whether how you can distribute your product. Okay, 哎呀，我仲想俾你早啲放，點不知都要講咁多時間。Okay, last 2-3 PowerPoint slides. So as far as the channel is concerned, different business, they have different channel, different 中介人, intermediaries, right? Example, if I am an organic farmer, 我係有機農夫, and then I'm here, all right? And then I produce from my farm in Yuen Long, in Sungai. Okay, I produce some organic food. So I can go to some organic farm market, you know, on Sunday morning, and then this 墟市集度, so I can sell it to the end user. This is one of the channel. I plant my organic food, I sell it directly to you. Or the second one, I may go through PARKnSHOP. Welcome. They have a booth called Organic Stuff, organic potato, organic banana, organic dude. So you go through PARKnSHOP, which is some sort of retailer. And the third item, like the pork, we need, sorry, too fast. The third item for the pork, we need to go through the Hong Kong system, the wholesaler, 五豐行豬肉. And then 五豐行 will go to those butcher, 去啲豬肉佬，豬肉榮、豬肉強 in your estate. And then you buy from 豬肉強、豬肉榮、豬肉 whatever, and then you buy the food. All right. So another industry, which is talking about insurance. So you may go through some broker, some agent, like housing estate, 地產經紀、保險經紀, something. All right. So you may need to have partners. So as far as partners are concerned, there are different types of partners. One is your really 真係嘅 partner, okay, shareholder. You cooperate with your groupmate in secondary school, university after you graduate. So they are your partner for your startup. And apart from the real partner, 你真正嗰個合夥人, okay, partnership, you may also have some external networking. External networking, you know, for those non-business, don't worry, okay, I won't examine you on that. We have 合資經營, joint venture, 策略聯盟, all right, strategic alliance, consortium, all right. For example, all those big bank, 大銀行, 合資做 MPF, they have, you know, 銀聯信託 for the MPF. So finance people, you may have familiar with this. And then you also have some sort of networking. For networking, for example, if you are a wedding planner, your network partner will be hotel, maybe restaurant, because you plan the wedding for your client. They need to go for a ceremony, you know, stay in a hotel, and also the banquet, something like this, or even go for a trade association. Okay, yes, basically, that's all I want to say. And once again, even though this is 年初七, before I already say Chinese New Year, Happy Chinese New Year. Hope everybody healthy, happy, all right, and also productive, and also finish your bachelor degree, got a dream job. In particular, today is the 7th day of Year of the Ox. And then happy birthday to everybody. Yun. That's it. Okay. So I will stay behind for another few minutes. Whether you have any particular question, you can ask me. If not, thank you for your patience. Enjoy your weekend, and also, you know, enjoy your holiday, whatever, and continue your studies. Okay. 完啦。有嘢想問，老細問，冇可以離開。Thank you. Yes, thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Happy New Year, you too. Yes, thank you. Yes, happy birthday to everybody. Okay, bye, everybody. Yes.